my name is Pilvi, and this is my new channel where I'm gonna discuss Swedish morbid history, like Swedish old-timey true crime and folklore, some ghost stories, and stuff like that. The poor woman's prayers and tears did not touch them at all. That is what is said on a gravestone here in Sweden. What we're gonna talk about today is one of the most infamous historic true crime cases that we have here. It's called Yngsjö, and it was in 1889. Our main characters in this story is Hanna Månsdotter, the mother, Per Nilsson, her son, and also Hanna Johansson, who would later marry Per Nilsson. Hanna Månsdotter was a pretty woman, as they said back in the day. She had some kind of charisma around her, I'm guessing. She was born in 1841, and she married a man who had a farm. They had 3 kids together. Sadly, only one survived, and that is Per Nilsson, named after his dad, Nils Nilsson. Per was born in 1862. After his 2 siblings died and his dad, he and his mother stayed on the farm and lived there together. After a little while, rumors started swirling in the little community where they lived, out like it's a little farm area, that they were having an incestuous relationship. They slept in the same bed, and people would say that Anna, the mother, was a bit jealous when Per got female attention. So Anna decided that it would be good for Per to find a wife by this point. For one, she wanted an heir to take over the farm, and she wanted the rumors to stop. Because of all the rumors going around, Per could not find a wife in any of the nearby villages or houses or households, so he had to go far to find one. And finally they found Hanna Johansdotter, born 1867. What did they say? They said she was a kind and intelligent young girl. Hanna came from a very well-to-do family. Her dad was a district judge and a church warden. And they were from, well, I guess far enough away to not hear the rumors and gossip going around the Månsdotter and Nilsson household. Hanna Månsdotter met Per once, and she instantly found him very charming. She told a friend in a letter that she found him good looking and tall, and decided that she would marry him. But after one visit to their farmhouse, she actually wrote another letter saying that she would not marry Per because of his mother. She was a very, very mean-spirited woman. And oh, how right she would be. Per sent a lot and lots of love letters to Hanna, trying to convince her that he would be kind and respectful and take care of her if only she came and lived with him and they would get married. Hanna fell for Per's charm once again. After just 2 months of living with Per and his mom, she actually was supposed to move away to her own mother, which she did, but she couldn't keep herself away from Per, so she came over all the time to nag and just be mean to Hanna. Hanna wrote lots and lots of letters to her dad, complaining about how she got scolded for nothing, basically, and Per wouldn't do anything. She wrote in her letters that she would cry and Per would sit emotionless and cold and do nothing. She said, "I cry every night and every day. I think I'll die from all my crying." The father told her to stay and try to resolve the marriage. She was getting a bit suspicious about Anna's and Per's relationship. Hanna, by this point, is living through hell. And all the neighbors that really liked her because she was such a kind and caring young girl saw that she was feeling terrible every day. And they understood when she wanted to leave. So a neighbor actually decided that they would give her a lift with horse and carriage home to her parents one day. They made up plans that he would come over the next day in the morning and take her back to her parents. We don't know the specifics, but we could almost assume that Hanna wanted to tell everyone about Per and his mom, Anna's incestuous relationship. And this is where we don't really know exactly what happened. We do know that in the middle of the night the day before, the neighbor would come and pick her up. Either Anna or Per went up to bed and hit Hanna in the head with a large piece of wood and then strangled her in her bed. They then put clothes on her and threw her down a bunch of stairs into their food cellar to make it look like an accident, that she had just tripped and fell in the darkness trying to find something down there. In the morning when the neighbor came, knocking, no one was home, he said. So he went off and came back an hour later to find Per walking around. He asked Per where Hanna could be, since they were meeting, and Per just said that he didn't know where she was. She had just left. The neighbor asked Per if he could come in and have a look around. So both Per and the neighbor looked around the little cottage that they lived in. Suddenly, Per shouts out, "Oh no, she's dead." The neighbor shouted a terrible scream that must have been heard for a long, long way because a lot of the other neighbors came as soon as they heard. At first, everyone thought that she had just tripped and fell down, that it was nothing but an unfortunate accident. They took her up and sent her away for, I don't know if we would call it an autopsy, but at least someone was gonna look her over since it was such a traumatic death. And of course they found that she had not fallen down the stairs. She had indeed been strangled, because that sort of thing shows. As soon as they confront Per with the fact that they know that Hanna has been murdered, he confesses that he did it. He did it all by himself because he wanted to marry another girl. He said a name. The cops went to look, and this girl had no idea who he even was or that they were supposed to get married. His story just quickly fell apart. And while Per was still trying to make sense of what happened, Anna Månsdotter still denied having anything to do with this. But no one really believed her, since she was such a cruel and angry woman that was jealous of her son's relationship with his new wife. The thing that put Anna on the crime scene was that when they dressed Hanna, she had a very nice little bow on her garters. And when they asked Per to replicate the bow, he just couldn't. And then they asked Anna, and she could do an exact replica. So then they both confessed. They had both killed her and dressed her and thrown her down the stairs. Probably to keep her from telling everyone about what was going on inside their house. It's very sad for poor Hanna to come into this, being manipulated into this family, when she thought she would just marry a good-looking guy with a nice house, and then just stumble into this kind of weird family dynamic. No one could ask for it at all. They were both sentenced to death for the murder of Hanna Johansdotter and the incestuous relationship they both had together. The people from the village, though, were feeling pretty sorry for Per, because he was usually a very quiet kid, and they thought that he must have been manipulated and abused by his mother. So they sent in a plea of pardon for him. And he actually escaped the death sentence. Per Nilsson was instead sentenced to hard labor for life, but was released after 23 years. 7th of August 1890, Anna Månsdotter was the last female in Sweden to be executed. And she got the axe. She is famous for the very gruesome way it all happened. The executioner had to slash her throat 3 times because he missed. And when he was done, her entire lower jaw was still stuck to her throat, including her tongue. What I'm gonna show now is a pretty gruesome picture, but it's a death mask that they took of her afterwards. So if you don't want to see that, just skip a minute or so ahead. And that is the story, mainly of Hanna Johansdotter, who had to die such a gruesome and horrible death because of a jealous, manipulative and cruel, evil mother. And this is a picture of her grave. The quote I said in the beginning is also inscripted on it. So rest in peace, Hanna Johansdotter. You did not deserve any of this. And that was the famous Yngsjö here in Sweden. Thank you all for watching my video. I will be posting stuff like this because I'm very interested in creepy and morbid history, but I will also be posting Swedish folklore from the creepier side. Yeah, ghost stories if I can find some fun ones. And if you'd like, please subscribe and like the video, leave a comment. If you know any good Swedish folklore or Swedish murder that you want to hear more about, just comment down there.